Vitiate, the Emperor, the Dark Lord of the Sith. Who is he? What is he? And most importantly, where is he? Vitiate claims to be the immortal Emperor of the Sith. He has lived for over 1,300 years. His unnatural ability was gained by absorbing the life force of thousands of Sith and non-Sith on his stronghold of Nathema. The original body of the Sith Emperor, and the one that Revan fought 1,000 years ago, after the ritual on Nathema, was a hybrid Sith pureblood. But after the Emperor's second fight with Revan, a curious change was made. After this point, the Sith Emperor first started using chosen servants called his Voices as a way to preserve himself. As we have given a broad overview of who the Emperor is, we will now examine what the Emperor is. Prior to the introduction of this Sith Emperor, and SWTOR in general, the only form of immortality we had seen was essence transfer. The transfer of consciousness to another body. This was practiced by Sith such as Darth Ndidu and Darth Bane. Darth Vitiate can do this, and this is likely how his voices are created. But it is also possible that his original body still exists somewhere in deep space, as implied by the Emperor's hand. However, essence transfer as a ritual destroys the host body. So how can Vitiate's body persist if he has transferred consciousness through his voices? This means that Vitiate may be unique in the known history of Star Wars as a Sith who didn't need carbonite to preserve his body indefinitely, and manages to become the first true immortal in the Star Wars galaxy. But as to how he did this, we only know vaguely that his Sith rituals have preserved him, though how his rituals can be called Sith when we know of no previous Sith performing them remains an unexplained mystery. And this leads us to our next tangent. What if the body of Tenebrae, the original form of Vitiate before the ritual, wasn't his original body? What if Vitiate and his rituals wasn't originally Sith, but instead some form of celestial or Rakatan? What if Vitiate is actually Valkorion from the Sacrifice trailer? These questions likely cannot be answered, or can't be answered easily. However, we can say that the timeline probably doesn't work if Vitiate were meant to be some sort of celestial, as the Celestials were imprisoned long ago. Additionally, it is unlikely that Vitiate is a Rakatan, unless he managed to outlast every other Rakatan from before. And lastly, the idea that Vitiate and Valkorion are one is unlikely, given the clues from the website. I think of all of these possibilities, that it is least likely that Vitiate is a Celestial, especially given the fact that Celestials are felt throughout the universe. If he were a Celestial, the Killiks and Force sensitives throughout the galaxy would likely sense his presence. I personally think that Vitiate has long ago transcended the powers of a mere Celestial, and possibly become the most powerful being in the galaxy, with one reservation. But how could he be a Rakatan? Surely this is less likely than him being a Celestial. One way for him to have originally been Rakatan is actually through an essence transfer. However, a more sinister and interesting idea is that of a mind trap. In KOTOR, as well as SWTOR, we encounter prisons known as mind prisons or mind traps, which trap the minds of Rakatan prisoners. With the exception of the Rakatan warlord Soa, all Rakatan enemies were placed within a mind trap, and the only way to free them was if another person willingly trapped their mind in that same mind trap. So the only obvious way that I can see Vitiate being a Rakatan is if he had opened a mind trap as a youth. This only leads to questions such as, where did he get the mind prison? How would it get on Nathema? Etc. Seeing as how this idea only leads to more questions, let's move on for now to the idea that Vitiate might in fact be Valkorion from the Empire of Zakul. Valkorion himself states that the Eternal Empire commands a fleet that will reshape the galaxy. This is opposed to the traditional Sith doctrine that the Force is more powerful than any technology. Additionally, the character Koth Vortina states that she grew up on Zakuul, and that she sees what it has become. This indicates that only recently has Zakuul been transformed into a conquering power. If this is the case, then it isn't possible for Valkorion to have pretended to be the Emperor for 1300 years only to bring out his true empire at the last minute. If anything, it may be that Vitiate is now possessing Valkorion, and using Valkorion's pre-existing fleets to sow chaos in the galaxy for Vitiate to grow in power through the deaths that would cause. But finally, let's move on to the characters of Arkan and Thexan, the brothers from the Sacrifice trailer. These brothers were raised from birth to fight something. Their birth, and the birth of their sister Valen, was long ago. It isn't likely that Vitiate oversaw their births when his stated plan had been galactic oblivion for so long. For these reasons, I don't think that Valkorion will turn out to be Vitiate. However, I do have one pie-in-the-sky idea to explain Vitiate, and I will elaborate on this in a future video. But now we have to ask, where is Vitiate? In the Sith Warrior storyline, the Emperor's hand tells us that his true body is not in the known universe. Additionally, he tells the Jedi Knight that he perceives galaxies outside of that of the Star Wars galaxy. So if his spirit and body are in separate places, where is the corporeal true body of the Emperor? It could still be outside of the galaxy, or it could be anywhere. It doesn't seem to matter, as his spirit seems to be the center of his consciousness. So where is that? We last saw it on Ziost, until he decided that he had other plans for the galaxy. Could it be back in his host body? So if his spirit and body are in separate places, where is his corporeal true body? It could still be outside of the galaxy, or it could be anywhere. It doesn't seem to matter, as the spirit of Vitiate seems to be the center of his consciousness. So where is that? We last saw it on Ziost, until Vitiate decided that he had other plans for the galaxy. Could it be back in his host body? I don't know. There is no indication given in the game yet, but I think we can gather from the first chapter of Knights of the Fallen Empire entitled The Hunt, that the very first thing we will be doing is hunting the Emperor. Until then, we can only continue guessing. So what did you think of this first lore-type vid? Would you prefer longer or shorter videos? Leave your comments below, and I will alter the next video accordingly. Next up will be a lore vid on the story of the operations, and perhaps some thoughts on why SWTOR was so unique in Star Wars: The Old Republic.